The Chicago Bulls have just secured a spot in the NBA play-in with a victory of 137 to 118 over the Toronto Raptors. I am Shaq Barnes here with another great episode of Bulls Digest, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls. Also, 67% of you guys have been watching the channel but have not subscribed. If you are a fan of the Chicago Bulls and you love the content that we drop here, please join the Bulls Digest movement. And like I just said in the intro, the Chicago Bulls have just secured a spot in the NBA play-in with a victory over the Toronto Raptors last night. And this is a outstanding thing for the Chicago Bulls. SB, why do you say that? What do you mean? We should be tanking for Cooper Flag this upcoming draft. I would have agreed with you that if we still had the same roster that started the beginning of the year. This is a totally different roster and a totally different team. The Chicago Bulls, since trade deadline, have been top 10 in wins, top 10 in net rating, top 10 in assist percentage, top 10 to assist to turn ratio. They are number one in pace, and they also top 10 in PI, that's player impact estimate. This is an all-around different team, top to bottom, different team. And when you have a team with you trade your best player, which it was Zach Lavine during that point of time, you expected to have a drop. The Chicago Bulls were the complete opposite. And there's no shot to Zach Lavine. I just think it was more of an addition by subtraction, and players fit better together with the current roster that we have constructed. And the Bulls, and if you really look at, let's say, a perfect example, if you look at what happened this year of teams who traded their star player at the trade deadline, let's see if they are better or worse without him. The Sacramento Kings traded De'Aaron Fox. They have been worse without him. The Miami Heat traded Jimmy Butler. They have been worse without him, drama or not. Also, we got Luka Doncic, who was traded. Injuries or not, the Dallas Mavericks are not as good as they was with him. But the Chicago Bulls can legitimately say, hey, we have got better since then. And the Bulls also are ranked 13th when it comes to offensive rating and effective field goal percentage. So this team has been outstandingly good, and this is a run and gun team. And if you guys remember well, I talked about this article in my last video. Bill Simmons, well-known Celtics guy, love the Celtics a lot. He legitimately even said in this article, out of any team that's at the bottom of the East or could be at that 7th or 8th spot, he wouldn't want to play the Chicago Bulls. Who want to play a run and gun team who shoots a lot of threes, who's going to make you work, and you got to play them in the first round? Oh no, then you go into the second round tired, fatigued. You that came out of a tough 6-7 game series because of this young team that's running and gunning and running up and down the floor. I'm sorry, the Bulls are a team that you do not want to play. And with them making the play in, right, which I said is a outstanding good thing for this young core. I think you can build a lot of confidence in this young core, and you could build some more chemistry because these guys going to have more time to play together, and then they can play on a bigger stage. It's because it's not the same roster. This team is young now. We finally got direction. And when you have a young team, you want to put them out there to see what they can do at the end of the day. And then tanking is not guaranteeing us the number one pick to get Cooper Flag. It's not. The lottery odds have changed. It has changed drastically or not. And the Chicago Bulls have control of their top pick that's in this year's draft. So if I have control of my top pick that's in this draft right now, and I got a young core, and two of people in my young core are playing at a star level, all-star level at that, in Coby White and Josh Giddey. No, I want to see what the young guys can do. Let's put them out there. Let's see what they can do with the best of them. And so far, this team has been outstandingly good. And when you talk about a Josh Giddey, right, and the impact that he has had on this Chicago Bulls team, Josh Giddey on the floor makes everybody better. everybody. If you look at this chart right here, this is everybody on Chicago Bulls effective field goal percentage with Josh Giddey on the court and off the court. And every player, it goes up. The only player that might be close to still be the same is Coby White or Dalen Terry. But mainly with the Coby White situation that I like is because Coby White can play his natural role as a scoring guard, and where he's more effective at is scoring the ball. Then you got the rookie Montes Buzelis, and him and Montes Buzelis on the court together, big, tall, skilled guards. I mean, honestly, we could say forwards, but honestly, Buzelis and Josh Giddey are like very highly skilled tall guards. But if you want to put him at the four, I mean at the small forward position, that is perfectly fine with me. But when you look at these certain things with this Chicago Bulls team, they're young, they're fast, they're fun to watch. It's everything that you want to see. And I would want, one, as a fan, I want to see them in the play-in. But two, with them controlling their draft pick, it serves no purpose to tank out. It literally serves no purpose. If the Bulls tank out with this young core, how does that benefit us? It doesn't. The team is playing good on paper. And then if we try to tank and lose every game at this point in time, at this current juncture of this roster, we wouldn't know what to really do because we truly don't know what we have because we tanked. Oh, wait, Josh Giddey is good at playmaking. Coby White is good off the ball. Montes Buzelis is great at this. So we might need a good forward, or we might need another big man, a skilled big to maybe replace Vooch, or somebody skilled at the four. But you wouldn't know that if you tanking, because now you're playing everybody at the end of the game on the tail end of the bench. So, no, I think it's a great idea. And then when you look at this roster, and I say the two positives looking at this roster that I'm looking at right off the bat is the age of this roster and the roster flexibility. And you already hear the Giannis Antetokounmpo rumors to the Chicago Bulls. I think we need to slow down on it at this point in time right now because I can't really see it. But if you look at this young core and the money and roster flexibility that we're going to have coming in these next coming years, yes, that's why it's a conversation. And to get and lure more stars and good role players or good vets, you got to have something that shows promise on the court. And that's why I'm happy that the Chicago Bulls are playing well. Now, if, like, look at the average age of this roster right now. You got our three best players is Coby White, Josh Giddey, and I would say Buzelis, but you want to tip your hat to Vooch, that's perfectly fine. Vooch is the oldest guy on the roster at the age of 34. But our main core, Coby White, 25. Montes Buzelis is 20, and he ain't even nowhere near of how good of a player he's going to be. And Josh Giddey is 22. So with my roster being this young, showing this much promise, I'm happy. Look at the teams. Look at the teams that are at the top of the league right now. Right now. The Cavaliers built through a young core. They added a star later in Donovan Mitchell. The Oklahoma City Thunder was a young core, and they traded for SGA, who became an MVP caliber player. The Celtics started with a young core. They grew, got better. They had vets. You need to build the core, let them grow, see what you got, and you add pieces that fit them well. That's how you build a championship core. Not let's just tank out and hopefully get something well. We just seen teams tank out, and it's not really going well for them. Look at the Wizards so far. Look at the Pelicans so far. It's not necessarily always guaranteed. You have to go off what your teams give you, and if it shows promise, you build off that. So for everybody boo-hooing about the play-in, do not boo-hoo about it because this team is showing so much promise, and they're well. But the only negative thing is sad because you don't want to get back trapped into the same scenario that you was with DeMar DeRozan and Zach Lavine. Because if you also look at this chart and pay attention to well, Josh Giddey has a contract extension coming up. Coby White is going to be looking probably for a contract extension coming up. And those two guys that you're looking at right now that you possibly might have to keep. And with those guys that you have to keep, I mean, you can't let them walk. That's how good they're playing. They look outstanding together. But speaking of the Josh Giddey, because obviously Josh Giddey was traded to the Chicago Bulls this year. He was on a one-year deal, and he pretty much was a proven year for Josh Giddey. Obviously, he had downtimes with the OKC Thunder. Then he came to the Chicago Bulls and really found himself and showed his worth. And if you really look back at the Josh Giddey time, Josh Giddey wasn't really necessarily a bad player with the OKC Thunder. I just believe it wasn't really a great fit. And now when you see with the Chicago Bulls where he is a great fit, where he can have the ball in his hand, he can play make, he can rebound, he can push the pace for this Chicago Bulls team and to be outstanding. But NBA Inside Drake Fisher reported over the weekend Josh Giddey was seeking a minimum of $30 million annually, $45 million annually on the next contract. It's the same deal Atlanta's Jalen Johnson and Orlando's Jalen Suggs signed with their respective teams on Tuesday. Emmanuel Quigley, 5-year, $175 deal with the Toronto Raptors this past summer has set a benchmark for young guards around the NBA. Josh Giddey is said to be seeking at least $30 million in AAV in the next deal. Sources say although the Bulls more keen on evaluating Giddey through the first season in Chicago before committing that type of money to an Australian playmaker. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you look at Josh Giddey numbers this season, 14.7 rebounds, 7 assists, just under a block, a steal a game, 2 turnovers, shooting 46% from the field, 38% from 3. He has worked his way to get in that contract. He has earned that contract. And if you look at Josh Giddey numbers post All-Star break, he is pretty much averaging a 20-point triple-double. You can't just let that walk out the door. You can't. It's no way you let that walk out the door. I'm looking at the Chicago Bulls team with Giddey, Buzelis, Coby White, and this could be a dangerous team to be in a play-in, but I want to use this play-in to build on to the future, to add on to the top of the Chicago Bulls team next year, and then we can see what we can do. Thank you guys for watching. It's been another great episode of Bulls Digest. Let me know how you guys feel down below here in the comment section. Do you feel it was a good idea that the Chicago Bulls made the play-in? Also, what is your expectation for this young core? And how far do you think these guys could go in the play-in? It's been Shaq Barnes, another great episode of Bulls Digest, and see you on the next one. Peace.